And now for the highlight of today's gathering, the ceremonial signing of the Geneva Consensus Declaration. On October 22nd, 2020, this coalition of nations commits to stand together to support the improvement of women's health, the family as foundational to every strong society, the protection of life, and the sovereign right of every nation to make their own laws governing abortion. Further, we commit to working together until UN agencies work exclusively within their mandates and all nations prioritize the pillars of this declaration. And now, Secretary Azzo will read the Geneva Consensus Declaration in full.
We will now read the Geneva Consensus Declaration. On promoting women's health and strengthening the family, we, ministers and high representatives of governments, having intended to gather on the margins of the 2020 World Health Assembly in Geneva, Switzerland, to review progress made and challenges to uphold the right to the highest attainable standards of health for women, to promote women's essential contribution to health and strength of the family and of a successful and flourishing society, and to express the essential priority of protecting the right to life, committing to coordinated efforts in multilateral fora, despite our inability to meet in Geneva due to the global COVID-19 pandemic. In solidarity, we, 1, reaffirm all are equal before the law, and human rights of women are an inalienable, integral, and indivisible part of all human rights and fundamental freedoms. 2, emphasize the equal right of men and women to the enjoyment of all civil liberties and political rights, as well as economic, social, and cultural rights, and the equal rights, opportunities, and access to resources and equal sharing of responsibilities for the family by men and women, and a harmonious partnership between them are critical to their well-being and that of their families, and that women and girls must enjoy equal access to quality education, economic resources, and political participation, as well as equal opportunities with men and boys for employment, leadership, and decision-making at all levels. 3, reaffirm the inherent dignity and worth of the human person, that every human being has the inherent right to life, and the commitment to enable women to go safely through pregnancy and childbirth and provide couples with the best chance of having a healthy infant. 4, emphasize that in no case should abortion be promoted as a method of family planning, and that any measures or changes related to abortion within the health system can only be determined at the national or local level according to the national legislative process. Reaffirm that the child needs special safeguards and care before as well as after birth, and special measures of protection and assistance should be taken on behalf of all children based on the principle of the best interest of the child. 5, reaffirm that the family is the natural and fundamental group unit of society and is entitled to protection by society and the state, that motherhood and childhood are entitled to special care and assistance, that women play a critical role in the family, and women's contribution to the welfare of the family and to the development of society. 6, recognize that universal health coverage is fundamental for achieving the sustainable development goals related not only to health and well-being, with further recognition that health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity, that the predominant focus of healthcare systems on treating illness rather than maintaining optimal health also prevents a holistic approach, and that there are needs that exist at different stages in an individual's lifespan, which together support optimal health across the life course, entailing the provision of the necessary information, skills, and care for achieving the best possible health outcomes and reaching full human potential. And 7, reaffirm the importance of national ownership and the primary role and responsibility of governments at all levels to determine their own path towards achieving universal health coverage in accordance with national contexts and priorities, preserving human dignity and all the rights and freedoms set forth in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Furthermore, we, the representatives of our sovereign nations, do hereby declare in mutual friendship and respect our commitment to work together to ensure the full enjoyment of all human rights and equal opportunity for women at all levels of political, economic, and public life. Improve and secure access to health and development gains for women, including sexual and reproductive health, which must always promote optimal health, the highest attainable standard of health, without including abortion. reaffirmed that there was no international right to abortion nor any international obligation on the part of states to finance or facilitate abortion, consistent with the longstanding international consensus that each nation has the sovereign right to implement programs and activities consistent with their laws and policies. Build our health system capacity and mobilize resources to implement health and development programs that address the needs of women and children in situations of vulnerability and advance universal health coverage. Advance supportive public health policies for women and girls as well as families, including building our healthcare capacity and mobilizing resources within our own countries, bilaterally and in multilateral fora. Support the role of the family as foundational to society and as a source of health support and care. And engage across the UN system to realize these universal values, recognizing that individually we are strong, but together we are stronger. That concludes the declaration. Secretary Pompeo will now introduce the co-signing countries.